Dropshipping is easy and you don't need any money.
You sure about that?
This is the unfiltered truth about dropshipping that you may not have heard from other videos. From finding a winning product to getting your first sale, let's unpack what you need to know before getting started. And at the end, you can decide for yourself whether Amazon or Shopify is the better choice. So, up first, how do you actually find good products to dropship? Now, I've seen a lot of videos breeze over this step by telling viewers just to scroll on TikTok until you eventually find products with viral videos. And while this might be a good way to identify trends, the truth is views and likes don't always translate into actual sales. For example, this flying ore ball has been the subject of many viral videos over the past year, but using Jungle Scout, we can see that Amazon sales have significantly dropped off over time. If you're going to sell trending products like this, you at least want to get in on the ride up and not just the ride down. And this is the Amazon data we're looking at. So if it's having a hard time selling here, it's probably not doing better anywhere else. Another downside to this method is that everybody else is doing the exact same thing. Because dropshipping is relatively easy and low cost, the truth is a lot of categories are oversaturated. Whenever supply significantly outweighs demand, not only does competition skyrocket, but so does the cost to advertise. On Amazon, this is what it currently costs to win just a single paid click. And if you're wondering, the average conversion rate is around 10%, but on Shopify, it drops down to just 2%. This is why you want to be smart about the products you choose to sell. Otherwise, it's easy to get lost in the sea of thousands of others selling the exact same thing. And in some cases, there are even up to 30 different sellers all fighting for the same listing. Now, sure, you may notice there are some sellers still making an absolute killing, but what's important to understand is that these products are already established. If we look at just the top 50 products on page 1, the average listing has over 1,000 reviews. And even though they are making a lot of money, the truth is revenue does not equal profit. For example, we can see the average selling price is around $24. So if you were to come in and sell at this price, in order for it to be profitable, ideally, you'd want the all-in product cost to be under $20. So to see if that's even possible, let's get a quick estimated cost from CJ Dropshipping. Now, keep in mind that there are many other ways to find suppliers. In fact, coming up next, I'm gonna show you a whole bunch of different suppliers to consider. But for now, if you were to buy this product here, it would be around $15. Also, you'll need to factor in the $6 shipping cost as well as the small service fee. This then brings the all-in product cost to $22. In other words, to make your first $500 in profit, you'll need to sell 250 units. So obviously, this isn't a good profit margin. When it comes to dropshipping, anywhere between 15 and 20% is considered average. But personally, I'd recommend aiming for products over 30%. This means you would need to get this cost down to at least $16 all in. But if you could do that, then it would only take about 62 sales to profit your first $500. However, at least with this supplier here, I don't think it's going to be easy getting those 62 sales. Because it ships from China, the estimated delivery time to the US is between 20 to 60 days. Now, especially on Amazon where customers expect 2-day shipping, the longer it takes to ship, the lower the conversion rate will be. And this is just the reality of dropshipping. The truth is, shipping times are going to be long. And while there's not a whole lot you can do about it, there is a way to cut your shipping times in half, and in some cases, down to just 1 week. While this will limit the number of products you can sell, the key is to find local suppliers who are storing their inventory in the same country you're selling in. So in my case, because I'd be selling in the US, I'd only want to find suppliers that have a US warehouse. Now, for the visual learners out there who would like to see a real-life practical example, let me walk you through how I found a product that has consistently high demand, up to 50% profit margins, and it comes from a US warehouse. So let's dive into my screen here. But first, if you're enjoying this video so far, please let us know by hitting a like button down below. Now, just remember, when you're looking for products to sell, try to look for ones that have all 3 of these things. That's sustainable demand, high profit margins, and fast shipping times. So starting with high demand first, here's how I found this product. So what I did is I came over here to Amazon and I looked at 3 sections. That's the best sellers, the new releases, and movers and shakers. And really what I'm doing is I'm going through these category trees here. So for instance, I think what I did is I went to unique finds down here at the bottom, and I'm just trying to niche down all the way to the lowest level. So you can see all these different sub niches here. But what I did is I went to life hacks. I thought that would be a fun one to explore. And because this is the lowest level I can go to, I just started to look at these products here on the page. Now with the Jungle Scout extension, what we can see are a lot of cool things on the screen here. So we can see daily and monthly sales, revenue, total fees and profit, and a whole bunch of other helpful information. What I'm looking to find when I'm looking for high demand products are products that consistently get at least 10 sales per day, or in other words, 300 sales per month. Right here, you can see this product here, 587 daily sales. That's a monthly revenue of over $200,000. This is a car window shade, and it's in a 4-pack. So that caught my eye immediately. So I opened it up, and I just want to examine first this product, and then I'll actually go to the niche and examine the whole entire niche. So what we can do with the Jungle Scout extension is open it up here, and over time, I'm just trying to verify that this is a product that consistently is getting these sales. So looking at just the past year of data, I'm gonna turn off the buy box price and the sales rank and just look at the estimated sales over time. Now it has grown significantly. We're looking at daily sales here, but still the lowest level, I think it's like 123 daily sales or 119 daily sales. Monthly, the worst month this product has ever had is 4,000 units, or I guess we're still in August, it's actually August 1st. So, I mean, that's pretty incredible. But what I wanna see now is I wanna verify this demand on the niche level, not just this one product, but then I also wanna look at the competition as well. So what I'll do for this is copy this product's main keywords. If you don't know the main keyword, you can just use Jungle Scout and search for the top keywords by clicking this icon here. This will run a search on Keyword Scout and identify the top keywords for this product. But I'm just gonna use that top keyword that I copied over here, add it into Amazon, probably just remove the brackets and see what we find here. Now, again, we have the overlays here right on the screen as we browse, which is sometimes a lot faster if you're just quickly analyzing a niche. But if you wanna do a lot quicker, you can open the extension this way and you'll see a table of all the products on page 1, which is about 23 different products. You can load more to go past page 1, which is really helpful to see, a really large niche if it's bigger than just one page. By doing that here, I'm now looking at 50 products. I will want to probably just make sure that as I'm scrolling through looking at these images that they're all 4-packs. So for example, this is a 2-pack. I'd probably want to get rid of that by clicking it and hiding it. But once I'm done with that, you can come up here and look at a few metrics. The first is the average price. So $17.92 is the average price for this product. However, the average monthly sales is $1,700. So that to me is confirming the demand for this product. However, the average number of ratings is 2,000. So it is gonna be very competitive if you're gonna launch a new product in this category. You're gonna be competing with sellers who have a lot of reviews on their listings. So demand, I would say, is very strong. Competition, it is going to be difficult for competing with other products that have high reviews. However, what I really want to see most importantly is that there are new sellers that have entered this category that have done very well. So what I'll look at is, let's see right here, a product that has 29 reviews. It's got 3 daily sales. So, that's not ideal. Let's see if we can find any other product. So 150 reviews, 22 daily sales. That's awesome. Again, we're looking for 10 or more daily sales, or in other words, 300 monthly sales or more. So let's see, 184 reviews, 41 daily sales, 1 review, 20 daily sales. That's great. So again, trying to find new sellers that are coming into this category and competing with these top sellers up here. And so far, I'm able to find a few. Again, 67 reviews, 23 daily sales that are actually doing this. So that is really good. I'd go ahead and give competition a green check mark here. Now let's move on to profitability. We just showed demand, we just showed competition. To see if this product would be profitable, we're gonna need to get an estimated product cost. And again, we only wanna work with local suppliers that have a US warehouse. Now, to find suppliers, there are 3 main sources to consider. These are online marketplaces like CJ Dropshipping or AliExpress, both of which are actually free. There's also paid directories such as Worldwide Brands or Spocket. These give you instant access to hundreds of pre-vetted suppliers, and they're usually more reliable. And then there's wholesale accounts. Unlike the other 2, this is when you directly reach out to brands and ask to open a dropshipping account. In my opinion, it's the best way to find reliable suppliers and to get the best possible prices. However, because most brands would rather work with wholesalers that buy the inventory up front, it's a lot harder to find the ones that will let you just drop ship. So if you're starting out, you might want to stick with one of these free marketplaces or a paid directory. Now, coming back to this example here, I initially started my search on AliExpress. So in AliExpress, I'm just going to copy our main search term here. But before I go ahead and look at these products here, there's a couple filters I want to enable. The first one is the ship from. Again, we're trying to find local suppliers in the US, so I'll go ahead and select US here. But then just to find products that have free shipping, you can click the free shipping filter as well. Now at this point, I can scroll down and confidently know that these products will be shipped from the US and will most likely have faster shipping times. We will still want to confirm that, but what I did here is I scrolled down and I eventually found a product like this one that costs $7.43. It offers free shipping from the US, and the best part is the delivery time is between 4 and 13 days. So essentially, there's a chance that we can get this product shipped to the customer in the same week, and that's huge. So if this is our all-in product cost, $7.43, and as we saw over here on the extension, we know we can sell it for around $18, then that must mean we'll make a $10 profit, right? Unfortunately, no. In addition to the product cost, there are some other expenses that will factor into your margins. We'll get to those in just a second, but first, let's talk about the startup cost. And yes, despite what you may have heard, the truth is you will need some money to start dropshipping, starting with the platform fees. Both Shopify and Amazon do have low-cost options, but you'll find the features are very limiting. So if you're serious about scaling your business, you'll want to opt in to the more professional plans. If you're choosing Shopify, then you're probably also paying for an order management software that will automate the process of fulfilling your orders. This can vary, but typically pricing will start at around $20 a month. Then there's also the cost to buy a domain name, which I know it isn't much, but it's still a cost nonetheless. These right here are your main startup cost. However, since they're technically not tied to individual transactions, they don't have a direct impact on your per unit profit margins. Instead, it's these next three that will directly affect your profits. So when you're calculating your potential profitability, just make sure you're factoring these in. The first one is return fees. Regardless of the platform, inevitably, you're going to have a few customers who want to return the product. And although it doesn't happen every sale, when it does, you're usually stuck with the shipping cost. This next cost is transaction fees. On Shopify, this is a small fee that you pay when customers make a purchase with major credit cards like Visa and MasterCard. On the basic plan, it's 2.9% of the transaction plus an additional 30 cents. Now with Amazon, there are no credit card fees, but there is something called a referral fee. This is just a commission that Amazon charges each time you sell a product, and usually it's about 15% of your total sales price, which means if you're selling an $18 product, this is what both platforms would charge in transaction fees. On paper, while it may look like Shopify is the more profitable option, here's why that's actually not true. The reason Amazon charges a referral fee is because they're giving you something Shopify just can't: instant access to millions of built-in customers that visit and buy products every single day. And this is traffic that you can get for free. Whereas on Shopify, since you're driving all of your own traffic, you'll most likely have to pay for ads just to get people to your store. Now, while you can generate traffic organically through social media, the truth is, when you sign up to become a dropshipper, you're also signing up to become a marketer, especially if you're selling on Shopify. Dropshipping is all about how much traffic you can drive to your store. This means you'll need to learn how to become effective at using all of these different platforms. And even if you were good at driving organic traffic, for example, maybe you really understand TikTok. Well, in order to keep your sales consistent, you would need to upload viral video after viral video, which brings us to this last expense that most dropshippers have, and that's paid advertising. On both platforms, advertising is the most reliable way to keep a consistent flow of traffic coming to your store. However, these costs can quickly add up, and depending on where you're selling, it may or may not eat into all of your profits. To help explain this, let's go back to our previous example. If you bought this product for $16 and sold it for $24, you'd make $8 before advertising cost. And if you did that 62 times, you'd profit $500. So to get those 62 sales, let's pretend you're using TikTok ads to drive traffic to your store. On TikTok and really across all social media, the average click-through rate is about 1%, which means if your video reaches 10,000 people, only 100 of them will actually click through and visit your store. Now, of those 100 visitors, if it's a Shopify store, then up to 3 people will make a purchase. But if the product is on Amazon, then up to 10 people will make a purchase. These are the average conversion rates for both platforms. So if the goal is to hit 62 sales, then this is how many people you would have to reach on both platforms and how many people would need to click through to your store. Now, if we're assuming just a small 50-cent average cost per click, then this is what it would cost to drive that traffic, which means after adding in the cost of buying 62 units from your supplier, this is how much you would have spent in total. Subtracting this from the ad revenue, at least in this scenario, on Shopify, you would actually lose money. This is why, especially on Shopify, the path to profitability is usually through driving lots of organic traffic or learning how to create highly profitable ad campaigns. And if that's something you're not familiar with or just don't have the time to learn, then I'd strongly recommend listing your products on Amazon. Unlike a Shopify store that requires significant marketing efforts just to drive traffic, selling on Amazon allows you to essentially bypass this step. By creating an optimized listing filled with high volume keywords, your product has a legitimate chance of being displayed organically in front of millions of shoppers. And if you do decide to advertise, unlike Shopify, your ads will go right in front of highly motivated shoppers who are more likely to buy than someone just scrolling on social media. This is why conversion rates are much higher on Amazon than Shopify, and it's why a lot of beginners initially start on Amazon. But really, you can do both. However, if you're just starting out, I'd recommend testing the market on Amazon first, and then once you know your product is successful, then creating a Shopify store. But if you want to continue learning about the differences between Amazon and Shopify, then you can check out our full written guide with the link in the pinned comment down below. Now, before you get started, there is one more thing you should be aware of. For better and for worse, dropshipping has a very low barrier to entry. While the accessibility is appealing, this creates intense competition that makes it extremely difficult for new sellers to gain visibility and attract customers. And because you're technically fulfilling your own orders, you're not able to take advantage of the Amazon Prime program. For many shoppers, they won't even consider clicking on products that don't have the Prime badge. This is why I think if you're willing to put in the time, effort, and as we learned, money to building a dropshipping business, why not spend those same resources starting a private label business? Just like dropshipping, you don't ever need to touch the actual inventory. Instead, you buy existing products from suppliers, except this time, the supplier will add your own custom logo and then ship it all the way into an Amazon fulfillment center. From there, Amazon holds onto your product until a customer places an order. When that happens, someone at Amazon will pick it up off the shelf, package it into a box, and ship it out to the customer for you. In my opinion, private label is a much more rewarding business model because not only does it give you complete control over your business, but it also means you're creating a sellable asset that can later be sold for 6, 7, or even 8 figures. And if you want to learn more about how it all works, then check out our free course that will teach you exactly how to start your own private label business. This next video will cover everything from product research, creating your first listing, and how to launch your product and get your first sales. Thank you so much for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one.